Let's proceed. We're going to, let me first say my name is Horace, volunteer in support of our communities. I'm going to read things because it helps discipline me from wandering. Today's forum is hosted by our Communities of Northwest Stokes Foundation. It's a public service. The foundation does not endorse or support any specific candidate or political party. The foundation is a nonprofit charged with financial accountability in support of our communities in Northwest Stokes. A community-driven, all-volunteer, and nonpartisan initiative. All candidates registered with the Stokes County Board of Elections for the offices of the Board of Education and the Board of County Commissioners were invited to participate in this forum. And you can see that all have responded except the two names on the table behind the candidates did not respond and have chosen not to attend. Forum questions were provided to all candidates a week in advance in the forum, and again provided adjustment in their order this afternoon. And the protocol, it's a one-pager, was provided today. It will also be shared with attendees by Jeff, one of our moderators. We trust this forum gives candidates and potential voters in our county a chance to get to know each other better. Since 2014, our communities in Northwest Stokes has been focused on economic development, collaborating with business, county, and the many extraordinary local organizations to plan and build our future. We separately and jointly deploy volunteers and funding to create and enhance needed services, support business, and generate activities of interest to our neighbors and our visitors. We avoid duplication of effort, act within our capacity while stretching our capabilities, and counter actions that could undermine why we chose to live here. Meet Paula to learn more. Paula, raise your hand. There she is. Ask her to add your name to our email list for updates. When I finish, please join me in thanking a few folks. Our community's organizing group, Sylvia Burton, Catherine Converse, Paula Duggan, and Texie Jessup. Paul Blue, president of our foundation, set the tone and process for forums since the 2018 inception. Paul, back in the Thank you. Sylvia Burton, she responded to our call for refreshments with treats we love to eat. Roy Sawyers, back in the corner. Sylvia, are you? There she is. Roy Sawyers for producing videos for each session. His videos allow us to extend the reach of this event. Look for them on social media or search OC space NW space Stokes space YouTube. You can go back and look on that board for the data. If you believe the forums are helpful to you and your neighbors, no matter where you live in rural and urban Stokes, please join us. There's a donation jar in the back. Funds go to our tax-exempt foundation in support of this and other initiatives. Now I'd like to introduce a couple of fellow veterans who will moderate and time manage the sessions. Jeffrey Fry, husband of Veronica, Marine vet, educator, woodworker, farmer, and fabricator supplier of specialty wood to others in his line of work. Nick Watson, husband of Maggie, father of two terrific daughters, Army vet, grower of specialty crops, and a highly talented technical problem solver globally and at home. So let me pass this along to Nick, and he is going to give an overview of how the forum is going to work, and then to Jeff, who will review the protocols. And there are pages in the back, and the candidates have them. Thank you. Let's thank the folks that
All right, thanks to the candidates for joining us today. So for the Board of Education, there are 9 total candidates, 7 confirmed participation here, 3 of those are incumbents, and we're all voting for 3 open seats. All right. So as Jeff reads out the questions, we will have response times, and I will be timing those and providing the candidates. So I'll give you guys the option. I'm currently sitting here. I can move to the back if you prefer me to be back there, but I will be giving you a 30-second warning when time's running out, and it will be a hard stop, and Jeff will start talking over top of you if you go past the hard stop.
That's why we have a merger.
Absolutely. All right, so I think here, got through the signs. So, and the Board of County Commissioners will be ran the same way with the signage and the timing. So we'll start off with a 2-minute introduction. And then once we get into the questions, we will have 2 minutes for the first 2 questions, and it'll be 1.5 minutes for the remaining questions. All right, so with the cards that you guys had placed your name on in the very beginning, there was a drawing on it, and the lucky winner was Jessica. So we will be starting with the introductions with her after Jeff gets through the protocol and all the things that he's got to cover. So how that will work is Jessica will start with the intro, and then she will also get the first question, and then it will rotate to the person to her left of the board. So the second question, it would start with Dwayne. The next question would start with Brian, and so on and so forth. So it rotates to the left. So that's how the drawing went. And so please follow the protocol that Jeff's going to lay out for you. Be kind and mindful of each other, and we'll ask the audience to do the same. You know, as far as hooping and hollering, you keep that to the woodshed, or if you want to be a keyboard warrior, take it there. Or ultimately, you know, speak what you're about. We don't need any commentary here. We need to hear what people have to say, so we're all informed voters. And with that, I will turn it over to Jeff. Was there a preference on whether I sit here or
I'm going to read over the protocol for today's forum, and this is directed to all of us in certain respects and certainly to the candidates in all respects. No audience reaction, positive or negative, will be allowed in a response to any comments from the candidates. All applause should be held until the end of the presentation. Candidates will address their comments to the audience. No comments, questions, or any form of disrespect to another candidate will be allowed. Anyone violates this, we're going to expel you. No question taken on the floor. Follow-up questions, no follow-up questions will be given. Only questions previously presented to the candidates will be addressed during this forum. There will be an informal open period after the session for the candidates to visit with the audience again to give any feedback to address specific issues they may have had. The order of speaking has been determined, and Nick will set us off on that. Prior to the forum, each candidate has drawn numbers to generate that randomness. We're going to have an introduction of each candidate, questions specific to the office. I think we have 5 questions for 7 candidates. That's why we have to keep things moving pretty quickly. And there'll be an opportunity for closing remarks. All candidates will be given that to clarify any topic discussed or remarks not previously addressed. To avoid disruption, save time, the candidates will remain seated and microphones will be passed amongst the front. Candidates will receive equal time to address each question asked of them and then running against. Candidates should plan to limit their responses to the time period. Most of the questions will be 2 minutes. I state that the first 2 questions are 2 minutes. The other questions are 1.5 minutes just because of numbers and math. Effectively, we need concise responses. Should I go move to Jessica as the introduction?
Yes.
All right, Jessica, we're going to go ahead and start the introductions at this time. And again, Nick's in charge of the timing, and you're the first introduction. And then we're going to move that way, back over here. And then we start questions? Go ahead, Jessica.
I just want to say thank you for having us here at Francisco, not Francisco. I'm Jessica Bennett. I have 2 boys in our school system. Wyatt is in the 6th grade, Levi's in the 3rd. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We are both products of Stokes County, K through 12. I've worked as a hygienist for 15 years. My boys are my life. As a mom, I worry about everything that concerns them, including their education. I decided to run for the school board after learning about our long-range plan. I instantly felt concerned about the future of our boys, my boys, and the students, every student in Stokes County. I feel that the long-range plan for our county could be done in a more efficient way. I work with the public and I work with parents, and I see all points of views. I am passionate about our county, and I want to see Stokes County schools work for our families. I will work for every single child and ensure the best for them. I don't want them to have the same experience with consolidation that my son has specifically had this year. Thank you.
I'm Dwayne Bryan. I'm currently on the school board. I've been on it going on my 4th year, my first term. Some of the things that we've gotten done, fighting COVID and stuff like that. We lost a year with COVID, the board did. Had 6 meetings, and boom, our schools were closed. So we've only had 2 years really on the board of actual working with our schools, trying to make them better. But in that time, I advocated for an apprenticeship and got it with a tire match for our auto mechanic students. Tire match is willing to take them in, provide them with tools, give them a job and pay them and teach them what they need to know about the automotive industry in the real world. I've advocated for carpentry programs to build Habitat for Humanity houses. That's thinking outside the box, because we didn't have the money, the funding to pay for that. So that's something else we're doing that's not costing us nothing. Our kids are learning carpentry trades, electrical trades, plumbing trades, all the different facets of building a house from top to bottom. Another thing is I've worked in several school systems, either in remodeling, building new, doing maintenance in them, and I see things that I'm like, yeah, that would be good for our kids, like the interactive boards. We had people wanting to repair our smart boards, and I said, well, what about these interactive boards I'm seeing? So they got to look at it, brought us back some numbers, and we used ESSER funds as a board and got interactive boards in all of our schools. But I've got more things I want to do towards our CTE side and stuff, and I just think that I've got a lot to offer to schools. Thank you.
My name is Brian Davis. I have 3 children that's in Stokes County schools. I'm a native of Stokes County. I've been around all my life, sports. I'm involved. I'm a Lions Club member. I'm the vice president of the Junior Football League here in Stokes County. I have a couple businesses here in Stokes as well as Forsyth County. I honestly believe that all our schools should need to stay open. I guess a lot of y'all are aware of Francisco when it shut down, it not only hurt the students and parents, it killed the community as well. That's something that I don't think people really pay attention to as far as how much of a role the schools play into these communities. For instance, Pine Hall is the only thing in Pine Hall is the school. I don't believe in shutting down a school because of lack of maintenance. I feel like we have funding out there that should have been used wisely, and it didn't get used that way. I'm here looking for you guys' support, and being on the Board of Education, I bring a lot to the table. I manage and run all of my businesses. I'm a Navy veteran. I served 2 tours, Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. First tour was 14 months. My second tour was 13 months. It's a lot that I have to offer that I don't think that you looking from the inside out, I don't think that a lot of people know how to pull something out of nothing. And I hate to say it like this, but I came from the bottom and I really did make it to the top off of nothing. I wasn't left nothing as far as generational wealth. I'm the one that's gonna put boots on the ground and really get in there and do the real raw, gritty job that nobody wants to get in and do. Not to be saying anything about anybody else, but I don't really know how many people's walking around these schools and really seeing what they really need and how much the repairs is really on a level of on a common DC level. We know the schools, anything that gets repaired is 5 times the repair amount. I don't agree with the numbers. Thank y'all.
Good afternoon. Thank y'all for having us here today and putting this on. I'm Cheryl Knight, and I'm running for re-election to the Stokes County Board of Education. I continue to be the voice of reason on the school board and will continue to fight and be that. I'm a mom of 3 kids in Stokes County schools. I offer a common sense approach to issues within our school system. I have worked as an MRI technologist for 19 years in radiology and recently as a PACS application specialist. I have experience with school budgets, our family farm budget, our household budget, and I directly see how decisions affect students. I live with 3 of them in my household. In my opinion, consolidation is difficult. There's a right way and a wrong way. We are going about it the wrong way. Again, I appreciate your time and ask for your support. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name's Thomas Sands. I've been in Stokes County all my life. Met my wife at college and brought her back here. I've got 2 children, 1 on the way. I'm an engineer for Duke Energy in their major projects. I think I'd bring a logical and practical approach to looking at our budget, looking at how to use our money and spend it wisely. I came back here to raise a family, and the school system is one thing that is super important to any family looking to come to Stokes County. And just seeing what's going on, I felt the need to get involved. I think I'd make a great addition to the board, and I really would appreciate your support come March 5th. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Darlene Deal, and I'm running for one of the 3 open positions on the Board of Education. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be here this afternoon. I have a granddaughter, Darcy, in kindergarten, and a grandson, Mason, in the 9th grade at North Stokes. I am a product of a Northern Stokes County education, and I'm very, very proud of that. I live and work in all areas of the county, so my focus is on all children, not just one area. I've never aspired or intended to run for any office, but here I am. When I saw the choices that we had and how the current board could not see above their personal agendas to do what is right for all of Stokes County, I had no other choice but to try and use my voice for the students, teachers, and parents. I am not being forced to run. I am running because I love Stokes County.
I'm Vaughn Robertson. I am currently on the school board now, finishing up my first term. I've been starting my 3rd year as a chairman of the school board. I've enjoyed my time that I've worked and served on the board. I am a lifelong resident of Stokes County, lifelong Republican. Owned and operated Robertson Builders for 25 years, built over 100 houses. When you're talking about budgets, every house has its own budget, and you better make it work. I'm married to my wife, Lisa. She is a community volunteer. She loves cooking for a cause. Her favorite event is the Veterans Second Cup on Friday, every 5th Friday morning of the year. We take and cook and serve breakfast to the veterans out at the senior center. And that is very rewarding to both of us. We really enjoy that. Our daughter, Lizzie, is a student at Appalachian. She is a CNA, a skill that she learned when she was a student at West Stokes High School. And she's doing very well at that. We're very proud of her as well. I also serve on some other boards. I'm the president of the Stokes County Republican Men's Club, have been for 8 years, a member of the executive committee for 8 years. I'm on the Piedmont Triad Regional Development Corporation board now for 8 years. I'm just starting my first year on the Partnership for Children in King. that serves pre-K services for the entire county. And also just starting a term for the Board of Adjustments and Planning for the City of King. So I feel like my experience, the best experience I probably have, is serving on the school board for the past 3 years. It does take a little while to get up to speed with that, learn the budget, learn the schools, learn what's going on, and I feel like that is probably my best experience. But I want to thank our communities of Northwest Stokes for having us today, and we're happy to be here.
I have a note or a request before we start the questions, and then Jessica, you'll be the first one to answer the first question, and then we'll start rotating to the left and around. I'd like cell phones turned off, and if the candidates could refrain from using their cell phones as well, I'd appreciate that. All right, so with the first question, you have 1.5 minutes to respond, and 30 seconds if you have a solution. In effect, you have 2 minutes to respond with your solution and to answer the question. What do you think is the biggest issue facing Stokes County schools, and what's the solution for it?
I think the biggest issue is our current board with certain members working on their own personal agendas over the real problems in our school. It has been said the ball has been dropped for many years now. That still hasn't been addressed. It was said the long-range plan had been in the works for 2 years. It's all been rushed decisions with no explanation of savings and long-term consequences. The long-range plan doesn't work for the entire county. The plan for our schools needs to be completely rewritten. The division that this board has created is very harmful to our county. The biggest issue is to develop a better plan that works for everyone in our county, starting with the changes in our board. We need to try and appeal to future students, trying to get more kids in our schools and get our numbers up. In order to do that, we must have stability in our schools and our county, and that comes from our Board of Education, and we do not have that. Thank you.
Well, the biggest thing I see, the biggest issue we've got right now is probably funding. The cost of everything skyrocketing. Just look at your household costs, fuel, food, electricity, et cetera. Home repairs. 15 years ago, I installed heat pumps for people for less than what the materials cost today. We all get our capital funds from sales tax here in the county, and that usually around $2.5 million a year. Well, we got a grant for 3 roofs that were $5-somewhat million we sent. So basically, we're looking at over $1 million a roof. Well, if you've got $2.5 million and the roof's good for 20 years, you got 19 schools. You do 1 roof a year, you've got $1.5 million to repair 19 schools. Well, that leaves you $78,947.36 per school to make all the repairs. You're not going to fix much with that. With the new consolidation at 17 schools, that's $88,235.29, which is an additional $9,287.93 per school, and that is a total of $157,894.88. Well, you multiply that by 10 years, you got $1.6 million, basically. And so it's got to help. We've got, I talked last week to the MEP, which is the mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer, Chris Stroop, that came up and did the presentation for our schools. Now, I was wanting to know exactly what part of HVAC was included in that $90 million, what wasn't. Basically, he said they walked by, well, that machine.
You're out of time.
Okay.
Me personally, I think our biggest issues we face in the Stokes County school system is past 20, 25 years of neglect to our schools. I don't feel like the current board is to be fully at fault for what's going on. I feel like prior boards and boards before that, I feel like everybody's so stuck on pushing these personal agendas that we didn't let our children down in Stokes County, along with our structures. I know the Board of Commissioners are responsible for the grounds and the upkeep of the buildings. Therefore, we shouldn't be fighting as hard as the school board to get monies for the buildings and the grounds. If you go to King Elementary, I own a gutter business. You can tell that most of their water problems come from the gutters being bad. That school's been there since it was a high school, and it's made it through all these years. So can't one person say that the school is just washing out all of a sudden out of the blue. I feel like the maintenance has been let down. I've asked for maintenance records over the last 20 years. I know that if a teacher sees a problem, she has reported to the principal reported to superintendent goes to school board goes to county commissioners. Nobody's given anybody a track record of these repairs that need to be done and why they're not getting done. So, like I said, pretty much to sum it up, our problem lies within the last 20 to 25 years of neglect. Like I said, I'm not here to point fingers at no one single person, but somebody has to pick up the ball and actually get to rolling with it, because just going back and forth ain't getting nothing done around our school systems. We need to stop the little bickering and stop the mess that we're dealing with amongst the Republican Party in itself and get down to one team and fix this whole school system as a whole.
In my opinion, school consolidation is the huge hot button topic right now and the biggest issue facing Stokes County schools. We have many issues facing our schools, but this one is definitely taken front and center. Consolidation is weighing heavy on everyone. We can take our great schools and we could renovate all of them and have $200 million less invested than the current plan, the current long-range plan that the school board has. Peterson Gordon, in their building study, made it clear you can totally renovate our schools and facilities for $90 million. To me, this is a viable option, maybe not the only option, but I say for a solution, we can definitely gather more public input. So far, we've had one public hearing for the potential closure of 3 schools, so you have to gather more public input when you go about consolidating. And a solution, I would say, is consult the professionals. So far, we've not had the full extent of data, cost analysis, or anything of that nature that we need to really present to the public. What would they get if that burden, falls at their feet of large new facilities? So again, reach out to professionals and, go that route. That's my solution. Thank you.
So some of the biggest issues, I agree with some of the board members here, or some of the candidates here, but there are some positives for Stokes County. I don't want to be all negative. We hear that all the time. I went to college from here, brought my family back, was very well prepared, very grateful for the education I received here in Stokes County. That's one reason why I brought my family back here, to invest in the community, keep moving forward, and keep giving back to the community. We have 14 schools that were just announced at the last board meeting that met or exceeded growth. There are good things going on in this county. I don't want everybody to be down in the dumps about the school system. We provide a good school system here in Stokes County. Yes, we have problems. There's unrest in the leadership. We have examples that our children are seeing with that unrest. They're seeing negative things being said all the time amongst each other, the community, everything else, which leads to bullying, hazing, low morale, and high turnover in staff. Nobody wants to work in a negative environment, in a toxic environment. But that being said, even through all that, we are getting through it. As a board member, I would love to set a good example, talk about the positives, get some stuff in here, get the motivation moving forward again, and make sure that Stokes County and all of its stakeholders, such as parents and students, have the backing of the community and have faith in the institution that they're going to work in and going to school in. That's the biggest issue I see. It's an environment thing that we are creating as a community ourselves. It's time for us to start acting like adults and start moving forward again with all of the education in the county.
I think there is multiple problems, so it's kind of short-sighted to single out one. Of course, facilities are a huge issue, so is busing as well as curriculum. But I want to mention bullying. Bullying is real. If you have been on social media any this week, you have seen how I have been bullied. Even by candidates like Mr. Davis. They took my personal conversations that were not even true before I was even a candidate, and something that never was more than an idea that never came to fruition for several reasons. If I was a weaker person, I could see how they could really, really affect you. But enough about me. This is about the kids. No one should endure this. And my solution is we should address the bullying from the school board down. We have issues there, so we need to address it from the top down, not only with a written plan, but with a common sense approach for each individual situation.
Well, I agree with Ms. Deal on one thing. There is a lot of bullying on Facebook, and if you've been reading the Facebook, Ms. Deal's not the only one that's being bullied. You've probably seen my name mentioned on there about, I don't know how many times. Ms. Deal can attest to that. But I do think probably our biggest issue now is consolidation. Consolidation and staying current with our educational needs. But we have worked hard on our consolidation plan. It's easy to throw off on it. It's easy to get communities upset when their school's closing. Right now, we're closing or consolidating 2 schools, Lawsonville and Pine Hall. And so far, we haven't cost the county any money, right? We haven't come to the county and asked them for any money to consolidate those 2 schools. We've done it within our own budget. We are good stewards of the money. Matter of fact, this past year, the commissioners had to borrow $2.8 million from us to help their fund balance. So we're pretty good stewards with our money. We're doing a pretty good job looking after things for the schools. I think the consolidation plan will change over the next probably 10 or 15 years. We don't know how many students we'll have 10 or 15 years from now. We don't know how much money we're going to have to spend. We were asked to do a long-range plan, and we did, to kind of give us an idea of what may happen in the future, and we did that. Do I think that plan is what's going to probably hold true for the next 10 or 15 years? Probably not. I don't know that the funding will be there for it. It's not a $300 million plan, has been advertised by some of the ones in this room. Our plan is on our website, the school website, $128 million. That's a far cry from 300. I've asked them to show me the math on that, and nobody's been able to come up with that. So don't believe everything you hear. Our board is working good, working hard. I see the red sign over there, so I better stop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, this is question number 2. Is that Brian down there? You'll be the one that answers first this time. What? Oh, Dwayne? With the tie on, go next. All right, question number 2. Parents and communities are seeking high-quality education and opportunity for all children. In light of recent school closings, how will you address parents who are considering alternative educations, such as homeschooling, private school, and surrounding school systems?
Okay, there's a pretty tough question. I'll start off with it's a parent's right and a duty to choose what education their child receives, whether it's a public education, a charter education, or whatever. That's a parent's right to choose. But it's our duty to fight for the public schools, to keep them open, keep the kids getting a sound basic education, making sure all 5,500 plus kids get that opportunity, the same opportunity for sound basic educations. We need to keep, and our board has done it, kept CRT and some of the other woke agendas out of the education. If we hear about it, we address it. And, our children need to learn the basics of the 3 R's and beyond the basics. I mean, they need to be able to at least read a ruler when they come out of school and stuff. I've hired people at my business couldn't do that. So what I want to see is our kids, all of them, have the very best opportunity. If a school's too small, the state's not going to pay for the principal. That comes out of the general fund if we keep that school open, and some of the other employees there. Well, you start taking 100 to 200,000 plus out of each school, out of that general fund to keep one school open that doesn't have enough kids. You're hurting all the kids in the county because you're taking money away from their education. That general fund we've got is where we pay for a lot of this stuff. We keep the doors open with it. And I just don't want to see our kids hurt. So that's all I can say. If a parent thinks that they need to go somewhere else, that's their right, their privilege. I want them to stay in Stokes County, and I think we're giving them a good education, and I want to see us continue, but we have to make cuts sometime, whether we want to or not.
I believe what the major drop in our school system came from COVID, and people learned that homeschooling wasn't as tough as we thought it was. We given a proven fact that this new power school system has made homeschooling a lot easier for people to get on a laptop and do classwork. So in the midst of COVID, a lot of students we lost just stayed at home instead of getting back into our school systems. I believe the biggest way of influencing these students to come back to our school system or stay in our school system is offering more programs, as such as some surrounding schools may offer. A lot of our trade jobs and stuff like that, every student's not going to go to college. I think right here in Stokes County we have maybe a 23% college rate that's coming out of the senior classes. With that being said, what about the rest of the students not going? We need to offer something more lining up to a child's path versus everybody thinking that their child's going to go to college, because that's not facts. It's going to be hard to get children back in school from like the homeschool system, and the ones that's moved away. A lot of students move away because of sports. Right now, if anybody's paying attention to our counties, most of our teams, our high school teams, are really progressing as far as sports go. I think that's something that's going to pull students back into the school systems, because we are winning teams right now. North Stokes is number 2, South Stokes is number 1, West Stokes, I think they're hanging around maybe 4th, or maybe, if that makes sense. We're doing these Little League programs to get students back onto the sports side of things, and that's also generate more students back into the classrooms because they're willing to come back here for athletic abilities and stuff like that. Like I said, in the midst of things, I think that our numbers will pick back up. We're just looking at numbers from over the COVID, and those numbers dropped because of COVID. So I think next year it'll be a greater, better number than what we have right now. Thank y'all.
So this current long-range plan does have $1 million from our current expense fund from the county, so it does have expense in it. I know it's been mentioned that there's no expense in this current plan, but there's quite a bit of expense going forward with that. In light of the recent school closings, how we address parents and considering alternative education, I too am very supportive of it's a parent's rights. It's a parent's rights to know what suits that child best. Maybe it is homeschool, maybe it's public school, but again, you have to go to the parent. So far, I feel like the parent has been the number one factor left out of the equation thus far with this current long-range plan. So Stokes County Schools, number one, has to include the parents, have the conversations with the community, show them, what they're getting. So far, that's been minimal. Stokes County Schools must become the best option around. So the first, you must stabilize the system. Stop a plan that doesn't involve parents or their input. I will be requesting way more parent input, unlike what is going on now. I want parents to feel like our school system is stable, unlike what we have. First, parents should be involved in district line decisions. Their opinions matter. It has been said by board members that they like certain district lines because it has clean lines, but communities have different thoughts on what works best for students. Most importantly, if we want to retain these students, we must get buy-in through parents. Comments by the board, it's only 15 kids it's only 15 kids to ask about a district line. These kinds of comments show a lack of respect and that the board doesn't care. We also, comments like, well, we can't keep everybody happy. So that mentality of we are going to do what we want to runs parents away. It hurts any buy-in or desire to stay in Stokes County. Thank you.
I agree with Mr. Bryant and Ms. Knight. It is certainly every parent's right to decide what is right for their student and their family. They might have some family things going on that public school just doesn't work out for them. Whatever works best for their situation. However, if elected to the school board, my focus is on the public school system. My goal is to make Stokes County schools the best provider of education in the area. Like I mentioned previously, I think we're already doing a good job with that. We got a good foundation. We need to keep building off of that. Use that for a launch pad to get better facilities, better curriculums, and a better social environment for parents and children. That way they'll have confidence in the public school system and want to send their children to the public school system. I agree with our founding father, Benjamin Franklin. Schools should teach practical knowledge such as education would equip young people to make a good living and be attractive citizens. That is the goal of the public school system. As a board member, I would strive to make a strong public education system that helps ensure a strong, successful community, because every one of us comes from there, your neighbor comes from there, you will be getting a service from somebody that has touched the public school system every time you come in contact with somebody. That is the building blocks of society. I hope that they choose the public school system, and if elected, I will do everything in my power to make sure that that is the choice that parents want to make, but every parent has the right to choose what they want and what works for their family.
The key to this question is unfortunately something that the current board has not done, address the parents. This board has made closed-door decisions, not even involving the entire board, and only once saw parents' input. That was the one hearing that they had at South Stokes to close Lawsonville, Pine Hall, and Pinnacle. This hearing was done because and only because, as part of the school closure, it is required by the state. Early on in this process, like almost a year ago, I had a personal conversation with Mr. Robertson. I agreed that hard decisions had to be made, but my one request was to take it to the people. Whether you listen or not, let them be heard. He silenced the people, just like he silences Cheryl in board meetings. Coming new to this board, it will be too late for me to do anything about closing Lawsonville or Pine Hall and moving Meadowbrook. At this point, what I say to them will be, as a parent or grandparent myself, but if I was on this board, one, I would not have closed your school without your input. I would not have closed your school without a professional plan to do so. And second, I would I would have sought your input. The only thing I can say to these parents right now is vote for me and the other two that have like minds like me. Let us hire and listen to the professionals that are experienced in school consolidation and listen to the parents. Give us a chance to give your child an equal and fair education in Stokes County. And for those parents that want to know what school closure looks like to a community, look around. They closed Francisco, and no matter the why, it's gone. Some of the 9th and 10th graders at North Stokes have already been through this, and now they're possibly going through it again.
Parents should be the ones making the decisions about their child's education. I encourage more parental involvement at every level. Parents should be involved in a PTO, volunteer to school, and verbally support the school in front of their children. Stokes County has excellent schools and provides an outstanding education to all students. School choice is the parent's decision. If they decide homeschooling, private school, or surrounding county is best choice for their child, that is their right. That is up to the parent, each individual parent. It's not up to us. Our job is to provide the best education that we can in Stokes County and hope that we can attract those kids to our schools. And as members of the Board of Education, we must show leadership, courage, and good character. We must work to provide the best possible education for our students. Some parents may have the option of alternative educational opportunities. but not every parent and not every child has those options. For a lot of kids in Stokes County schools is their only choice. For a lot of kids in Stokes County, the school is the only place that they can feel safe. And for a lot of kids, at school is the only time they get to eat lunch or eat breakfast. We really serve a role more than just educating our children, and we have to keep that in mind. There's a lot being said here about the consolidation plan. You know, do we do this? Do we do that? A lot of the people on this board or is running for office were in favor of the Masonboro plan. The Masonboro plan was given a blank slate. They came back with 5 elementary schools in the whole county. They had Nancy Reynolds, Mount Olive Elementary, Poplar Springs Elementary, a new East Stokes Elementary, and that was it. I'm sorry, Southeastern Elementary too, because they took Southeastern Elementary and put it at South Stokes and made it a 6 through 12. That's not the plan we want. I think our plan is much better than that.
Thank you.
As far as seeking alternate education options, I think parents and students are so discouraged right now with the state of our county. They truly don't know what to do. I've always felt that as a parent, you should do what works best for you and your child and your family. When you're deciding that, for my case specifically, it depends on, it's not just your student, it's your grandparents, your siblings, people that help you get them to and from school. Those play a big part in where you decide to send your kid to school. I would encourage these parents to consider giving Stokes another try, that hopefully the issues that are most concerning can be turned around with changes. Our public schools should compete with these options. We want to be seen as the first choice on where they send their kids. People from larger surrounding counties recognize this, and they choose to send their kids here for the smaller, close-knit feel of our schools. Just like in the past with Francis Co., when it closed, it sent kids to Nancy Reynolds and Lawsonville. Some went to Surrey County, and some ended up being homeschooled. I know some of those kids never returned to the public school system. You want to appeal to try to get them back. I would try and convince them to give it another try, and that we will work on these issues rather than working on personal agendas.
All right, with question number 3, we're going from 2-minute mark to a minute and a half for the rest of the questions, and at the conclusion, there'll be one more go around with 2 minutes for whatever the candidates would like to share that maybe they ran out of time. And I think that's Brian way down there, right? I apologize for having a hard time reading names that far across the room. So this question goes to you first, and is, how will you address the teacher shortage?
I guess Brian without the ties time. The teacher shortage, the teacher shortage, I really think is a reference into teachers really don't know what's going to happen in the years to come. We've been throwing out there the thing of shutting down schools. I know a lot of teachers, for job security wise, have ran elsewhere they got to still pay for their households. So threatening to shut down schools over the times, they don't know how to respond to it. We don't have a solid set plan that's saying, hey, look, we giving y'all 3 years to get yourself together, and this is what we got coming along. Us shutting the schools down is really like something they threw in our face and then just dropped us off with it, and now we got to make decisions based off of decisions that's currently going to be made. I don't think the shortage would be as bad if it wasn't for these decisions that people have to make. I mean, R.J. Reynolds, they say they're going to shut down their plant. You got to go somewhere else. I mean, they walk in now and then walk you straight out the door, and who wants to deal with that? What teacher wants to deal with that? Of course, we got to have some type of competitive pay, but like I said, right now we fighting over funding for our school maintenance. So how can we offer competitive pay to teachers that's going to be current with other counties? We don't have the school sizes, so therefore we're not getting the funding that other schools are getting. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
How will I address the teacher shortage? Let me first start off by saying I appreciate our teachers and that they are some of the best among the best. Offering stability right now is one very important part of ending the teacher shortage here within the county. Address consolidation in a way that keeps teachers and families in the loop. Involve them. This will keep down the stress and worry that comes about with change. Right now, staff is still in limbo and do not know, where they'll be next year. Things like that break down the connection. One positive with a professional plan rather than a homegrown political plan is that it has incremental approach. It has steps in what happens and allows time for buy-in and public support. This way you avoid layoffs with a planned incremental approach and keep staff through natural attrition. In this current long-range plan, there is a lot of unknowns, and with unknowns comes uncertainty. Uncertainty calls staff to look elsewhere. I personally do not want to lose any staff. I would even propose that we petition the state and ask for better pay for all our teachers because they are most deserving. Thank you.
First off, I would just like to say this is not only a Stokes County problem, this is a national problem. It's not just us feeling this, but us as Board of Education members, I think that we could be looking into ways to get children and young adults that are going to be the next generation of teachers interested in a career in teaching. Provide them opportunities now here locally in Stokes County to get some experience, to see if that's something that they would like to do. Years ago, there was a teacher cadet program. I know they had it at West and South. I don't remember if they had it at North, and I don't think they even have it in the county anymore. But it gave students the opportunity to go into classrooms, student teach, and help and see what a career in teaching would look like. I think that's great. It gives people an opportunity to see that. I know that Yadkin County just received a $50,000 a year Teaching Fellows recruitment grant for this upcoming year to have somebody go in and go to Appalachian State, UNC Charlotte, Greensboro, Tennessee, and try to get teachers to come into their county. We need to be looking for grants like that to get people interested in coming to Stokes County, tell them all the reasons why that we are good. That right now will help build tomorrow, and it offers incentives for people to come to our county. I think he's getting ready to raise the red flag. Yep.
Well, this is going to be a hard one. The current board is running the ones we have out so fast, they are making the shortage in Stokes County 100 times worse. Do you want to work for an unstable system or company? Do you want to buy a home in an area and not even know that in 2 years there'll be a school system there? No, you don't, and neither do these teachers. Sandy Ridge alone has lost a 3rd grade, a 5th grade, a teacher coach, and a music teacher since the beginning of this year. They also, and none of these positions have been filled with certified teachers. They did pull a very qualified teacher from 1st grade to replace the 5th grade, so that upset the 1st grade class also. But anyway, to fill the vacancy. So the actual impact has been much tougher than it sounds since this year began. And none of these positions have been permanently filled. This board is so worried about combo classes. I myself had 4 combo classes in 6 years at Sandy Ridge a few years ago. I have never thought about my education that it suffered because of it. The way the current board is headed, we will have to have combo classes because of the lack of teachers rather than the lack of students. The first thing I would do as a board member is to make good, sound, stable decisions that would keep the teachers, and we would have earned back their trust and guarantee them a clean, untattered, conducive learning environment that taxpayers can afford.
I sometimes think that we're talking about 2 different school systems. It puzzles me at times, but in Stokes County, we are fortunate to maintain full employment or close to full employment almost all the time. Currently, we do have 9 total certified vacant positions. That's out of roughly 600. We have 9 out of 600. You're hardly ever going to be at full employment 100% of the time. That's almost impossible when you have 600 employees or 600 certified positions. We have 3 classroom teachers, 1 EC teacher, 1 music teacher, 1 art teacher, 2 media coordinators, and 1 counselor. Those are our vacant positions at this time. out of 600 certified positions. That's not bad. We achieve this providing a good work environment. A few weeks ago, I asked the board to support my initiative of a $2,000 retention bonus for all certified and classified employees. Stokes County Schools provides a 5% supplement to all teachers to help with the discrepancy in pay from adjoining counties. In my 3 years on the board, technology has been updated with clear touch interactive panels for every teacher. Superintendent Dr. Rice has an advisory council that meets 3 to 4 times a year to hear teacher, student, and parent concerns. Our $1.6 million grant last year allowed us to place over 500 cameras in our schools to provide a safer environment. Through our consolidation plan, we have reduced combo classes. All of these things contribute to a safer and better work environment and help Stokes County Schools retain teachers.
Teachers are so important. I realized just how important they were when my oldest started school. They have very demanding jobs. They are with our kids 6 to 8 hours a day, more than I am sometimes, sadly. You start by addressing their concerns that they have immediately. We don't sweep their issues under the rug. You make sure they have all the resources they need, and the money should make it to their classrooms. If consolidation is an issue affecting them, give clear answers from the beginning. Don't keep them in the dark and guessing. Don't hold on to bonuses. Give them when you're able to, not just around election time. We need to show them how much we appreciate them and give them reasons to stay in our county. Thank you.
Well, when I first got on the board, first budget meeting we went in, I fought to get our teachers to 5% on the supplement instead of 4% on a 10-year-old pay scale. I wanted 5% on the new pay scale. The commissioners gave them 4.5% the first year and went to 5% the second year. So we've got them some extra money that got us competitive with like-sized counties. However, we don't have the tax base to compete with Guilford and Forsyth. But we have teachers that leave and go to Forsyth, and 3 months later, they're back up here. They couldn't take it. We do have a pretty good school system, believe it or not, that they're willing to work for less money to work in our school system. We're not hurting our teachers. I fight to give them everything they need to succeed for our kids' success. And I want our teachers to know that we really appreciate them. I mean, we have great staff here in Stokes. They go over and beyond to do whatever we ask them to educate our kids. Our test scores, we had a slight decrease with COVID, but now it's coming back. They're increasing, getting better. We're getting back, and they say that it's going to take 5 to 7 years to get over COVID. Our teacher's about to get it done in round 3 before. So we've got great staff here, and we've got to do what we can to keep them here, and I've tried. Thank you.
Cheryl, we'll start off with you with question number 4. How do you feel about adding classes that pertain to trades such as electrical, plumbing, or classes that may involve training in robotics?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think hands-on vocational classes are instrumental in student success. Vocational or trades education is a huge part in so many students succeeding. What I mean is classes that hold a student's interest while teaching them a valuable skill offers benefits to them for many years to come. Whether it's carpentry, masonry, agriculture, electrical, plumbing, or the training in robotics, I'm for adding classes that broaden a student's horizon and allow them to pursue a dream, as well as some of the most in-demand and high-paying jobs around. We must continue to think outside the box and involve more and more of our industry leaders and local businesses. Stokes County does do a good job with involving industry leaders, but we have to continue to push the envelope and think outside the box and get creative with our funding, get buy-in as far as if a certain industry in the county would like to come, then partner with them to offer very specific training, whether it be increasing our soft skills that students need, just good phone etiquette and budgeting experience. All of that just falls into a good, well-rounded student. Thank you.
First of all, I want to make sure the mic's real close to my mouth. I am all for these classes. These are the building blocks of a functional and prosperous society. We need kids to be able to work with their hands. I heard the other day from an electrician, like I said, I mentioned worked with Duke, and he said that there are currently more electricians in North Carolina right now that are over the age of 80 than there are under 35. That's scary because they keep the lights on. Young people need to have opportunities to explore options past, not just one. I mean, I know they said electrical, plumbing, and robotics, but I mean, they need to be able to figure out either they like it or they don't like it. Sometimes figuring out that you don't like it is just as important as figuring out that you do like it. We need to make sure that we get business owners and communities that are trained here by these classes, because they will come back, they'll earn a living, they'll raise their families, end up putting hopefully more kids back into the public school system and paying taxes and hopefully hiring other people if they grow their jobs, grow their companies. Like I said, as an engineer, I know firsthand how it feels. I took classes in high school here in Stokes County, drafting, AutoCAD, that sort of stuff that got me prepared and really piqued my interest for engineering. I know what it feels like to have something that you've thought of, designed, built, come to life and it be a reality and help people. And I want kids to experience that and be able to feel that pride. I think also that just helps build self-esteem in a child, which will help turn things around socially. Like I said, I'm all for these classes. Everything that I do on the board will be with that in mind and make sure that we can get our kids working with their hands so that they can start a good life and a good career.
When I attended North Stokes years back, we had a cosmetology class that after graduation, students were qualified to sit for the state boards. We had carpentry classes, auto body, auto mechanics, agriculture, all different kinds of vocational classes were offered. Have you tried to get any work done around your home lately? Have you needed an electrician or a plumber? They're almost impossible to get because there's no one around. If you have, you know that at most, it's impossible to get, and then when you do, the price is probably tripled from what you paid the last time you procured one. Trade jobs have become very respectable, very good paying jobs, as they should be. It takes just as much knowledge to build a house as it does to be an administrative assistant. Not that one is more important, but one usually requires a degree. The other does not. We must be able to offer classes that take students from the classroom to the job site. Not every student is college material, nor does our society and economics allow for every student to be college graduates. I personally think we should work on a centralized trade school that students are bused or allowed to travel to after core classes each day, maybe located somewhere on or near the Forsyth Tech Stokes campus at Meadows. We give every child equal trade options in Stokes County. As far as the robotics part, I think we should be open to teach anything that could lead a child from the classroom to the job site.
We currently receive $235,712 in CTE funds. Those funds come from state, federal, and credential funds, which is earned through our program. That works out to 299 months of employment. We take those months of employment, divide them by 6 because we've got 3 high schools, 3 middle schools, and that's what we have to offer with CTE classes. We have a good menu of CTE classes. It's not that we have a shortage of classes. What we really have is a shortage of students that want to take the CTE classes. Forsyth Tech has a CTE building that they built over at Meadows, and the last time I checked a few months ago, they have one welding class that meets there for 4 hours a week, and the rest of the classrooms are unused. They have electrical, plumbing. Our problem is just finding the kids that want to take the CTE classes. It's not a popular thing that we can do right now. I've worked for about 2 or 3 years on an aviation academy, trying to get students interested in going down to Smith Reynolds Airport at their new aviation school and taking aviation classes. They could come out of there with 2 degrees or 2 certifications, become airline mechanics, and start out jobs making over $75,000. that's a pretty good salary when you're about 20 years old, 21 years old. If I was making that when I was 20 or 21, I don't know what I would have done. I'd have probably had every toy known to man because I'd have had a lot of money. But that is our problem today, is just trying to find our students to take our classes. And I will plug right quick, we do have a CTE summer camp. It's called Career Camp. It's open to middle school students. If any of you have middle school students, check it out. It's got, they take them on field trips, they introduce them to a lot of these programs. It's a great thing, Career Camp.
I feel that trades are a very proud profession. We need them desperately. A lot of our local well-known plumbers and electricians have been doing this for a long time and are kept very busy, and we will need a younger generation to take their place. Not everyone can or wants to go to college. We need to stress to these upcoming students just how important these types of workers are. We definitely need these classes. I know he mentioned getting grant money or extra funds to get the equipment needed. My kids aren't in high school yet, but I just glanced online to see that there are many sites listing camps and beginner courses for learning robotics. I think that would be very interesting. We become more familiar with these options to offer as much as we can to the students and encourage these students to pursue those resources. And then you try and appeal to them and get them to come back to this county to work. Thank you.
Well, anybody that knows me knows I'm 100% for the trades classes. That's what I've worked in all my life. And I ran before, and most of my talking points done been said, so I'm going to go a different route here. I went to the Stokes County carpentry teacher, for example. You talk about thinking outside the box. Our kids are now building habitat houses, like I said a while ago in the introduction. But that's because we had to think outside the box, because we don't offer a direct class in that. We have a carpentry class. They build dog houses, bird houses, stuff like that, learn the fundamentals. But we've actually got kids that are building these houses. That's getting a lot of our trades, getting them used to them. They're seeing whether they like them, whether they don't like them, whether they want to pursue it or whatever. I've met with SciTech about aviation, personally with the president and a couple of staff members. They also wanted to bring her NASCAR academy up here to our schools. Problem is getting the kids to take them. When you have 2 or 3 kids will sign up for a class and they need 14. We need to do a better job in our schools of marketing our trades so that the kids know about it, so that they understand what our trades can do for them, the money that they can make. I had to shut my business down because I couldn't find enough help. I couldn't do it all by myself. All I was doing was making people mad, because losing friends, because I could not physically get to it working 24/7. And it's just a big issue we got. Thank you.
I think trade jobs would really be awesome in Stokes County. With all we have, South Stokes, like I said, their numbers are like 700 kids. We got a lot of extra classrooms that we can fill with these kids that want to take trade jobs. I feel like the school system needs to choose career paths for the ones that's not going to college. Like I said earlier, 23% of the kids in Stokes County is only the ones going to college. So outside of that, these other kids need to be working up their way to a trade job. I know in school I took Spanish and French as an elective in order to line up for college. I barely can speak Spanish. I'm Spanish and I don't know much about French. So those class electives could be trade jobs. That's something they could be working on during those classes, because like I said, every child's not going to go to college. So why are we leading these kids up on a college path that they don't want to go to college? Dwayne Bryant being a Havoc guy, if I was raised by a man that was a Havoc guy, I'm pretty sure I'll probably be doing Havoc. But a lot of these kids don't know the opportunities they have, and we need to offer more opportunities for these kids. Your leaders of the world today is not your doctors and lawyers and stuff like that. It's really your Havoc, your home builders, your your trade jobs out here. That's what's really making a path for the world today. I believe that if we use these kids, say for instance, something break down at the school, we need something built. Guess what? We got these trade classes that we can send over there with a qualified instructor to help fix these things. Water line is breaking the schools. Pine Hall right now needs $70,000 worth of work on plumbing. You get your certified plumber down there with these kids, guess what? They're getting credits for their courses along with we're fixing our schools. And when you're taking the community to build our own communities, I feel like it's a win-win situation for all of us. So yes, I really am for trade jobs. My children, they got college plans set up, but if they can prove to me when they get older that they want to run their own business, I'm down for it. I've made a living off of running business, so I'm all for these trades.
Thank you. That's question 4. Question 5 is our last question, and again, we'll be followed by a 2-minute session on what you'd like to say, and we'll just keep doing the go around. I guess we start with Thomas this time. And question number 5. Why are you qualified to make educational decisions for all students in Stokes County?
First off, I want to say that I alone am not qualified to make decisions for all students without input, counseling from parents, community members, professionals, teachers, administrators, other school board members, and peers across the state. One thing that I do have are strong convictions, principles, trust in myself to make the right decision after doing reasonable research, deliberation, considering all information available to me at the time. I do this as part of my work, my life. I feel sure everybody in here does that as well with their own personal house and their own personal things that they have to make decisions about. As a father with children growing up in the world today, I see firsthand the problems that they face, and they're different than the ones I saw. They're different than the ones that my parents saw, and I feel sure they're different than the ones y'all saw. I'm right there in the trenches with you. I'm coming up with children that I'm having to bring up right now. I want the best for all of our children in Stokes County, because the better that they do now, the better that they'll do in the future, and that's better that the county will do in the future.
I currently own a restaurant in Danbury and a contractual insurance company. I have currently 23 employees that I manage daily. I handle the finances for both my businesses. If you have not been hiding under rocks in the last 4 years, you know that nothing is the same as it was prior to 2020. I purchased a restaurant in the middle of COVID with the absolute worst supply chain in history. I had to learn to adapt quickly. I think this is a skill that will be just as important in the next 4 years. We can sit as a board and make a long-range plan on paper all day long, but if we have learned nothing, it can change on a dime. Do we want to spend the $300 million on the backs of our taxpayers and then end up with 3/4 of the students we have now? We do not need to build new buildings at made-up prices that have went from $250 a square foot in 2022 to over $400 a square foot, and that's how you get to your $300 million at present. When population studies show that a decrease in population is coming in the next 4 years, I truly believe in my heart that I can accept this position and take off running with it.
Well, I think, as I said earlier, I think serving on the board for the past 3 years and almost 4 years now is probably my best experience and prepares me best for serving on it for the next 4 years. Albert Einstein once said, the only source of knowledge is experience. And I'll give you an example of that. There's been talk, I saw it on Facebook last night, they're running me down again, which is, I think, someone's favorite hobby, but there's been talk at we wanted to apply for a grant. Some of you may have heard about this. There was a $42 million grant through the lottery funds. The county commissioners would not have signed off on it. We didn't get to apply. In my opinion, the county missed out on $42 million of free money, which I think is tragic. But the grant is worked through the Department of Public Instruction in Raleigh. And what they do, they've increased that amount every year. They look at the cost of building a school, how many square feet. There's a formula. If we want to build that school for 600 students, then that has to have so many square feet, probably about 80,000 square feet in that school. They know what the cost is per square foot, and that's how they set our amount of $42 million. That school is not going to cost us $62 or $72 or $82 million. We weren't going to be in a hole in that school. They've got all that figured out for us because they give the grants to counties that can't afford to build schools on their own. So if they give us a grant for $42 million and it costs us $62 million to build a school, we're not doing ourselves any good. I see my red tag over there, so I'll pass it on.
Along with my family budget, I have managed our PTA budget since 2018. I help with my kids' athletic boards with making decisions on funds and where and how to spend them. I work with parents and teachers frequently, organizing events and schedules, working with the public every day for 15 years. I can see multiple points of views. You need someone willing to work with all the other board members and the Board of Commissioners to make the best qualified decisions. I am qualified because I care. I care tremendously about what happens to these kids in Stokes County. I don't think any child should be treated differently because of where they live. You want to make the best fair decisions. And I am invested. I have at least 9 more years until my youngest son graduates. I am here. And I think being thrown in the thick of things right now, how they are, you get a different perspective. You see things a little differently than others. Thank you.
Well, I've been on the board 3 going on 4 years, about to complete my first term. And when I first ran for the board, I had all these grand illusions of everything over here on the right. I'm thinking, oh yeah, all this is good, this is great. Once I got on the board, I found out that reality is over here. You want to do all this stuff, but sometimes you can't. You don't have funding, for one thing, or what you thought was accessible is not. You find out about the rules and regulations that the state puts forward. You find out, well, I can't do that. Really love to, but I can't. I mean, I've worked in several different school systems over the years and had my own business for 20 years, just got to where you couldn't find quality people. If you did have somebody working for you, you had to go redo it because they didn't do it right. So you wound up doing it yourself, and I couldn't. Not enough time. I mean, some of the stuff I've seen in schools, I'm like, yeah, that would work good in our schools. The other stuff, I've said no. That's why we got smart interactive boards instead of smart boards. Interactive boards, I watched kids during COVID when they had A and B days. B day would be on the interactive board interacting with the class. So even though half the kids were at home, they were still interacting with their class. They wouldn't have done that on smart boards. So a lot of stuff that you see like that helps. Thank you.
Well, I guess why I feel like I'm qualified to run to help out Stokes County schools is that I'm really an open person. I'm real translucent. I speak what's on my mind. I give at every day. I'm 100% me every day of the week. I'm not suit and tie, though I own a lot of them. I'd rather come dressed like I am today so you know who I am tomorrow. I'm not here to stab at anybody else or throw any punches at anybody else on the school board, nothing like that. I'm a type of guy that's a get it done and that's it. I'm not here to beat around the bush and make this person happy, that person happy. We got to worry about our kids and our communities. We can't sit here and worry about our personal opinions and arguments of what's going on today. We got to get there. We got to fix it. We got to make it happen. I am a multiple business owner. I manage all of them. Neither business that I own or run, I've got any type of business loans, anything for it. I made it happen with my own grit. I'm that guy that's gonna get out there and walk through these schools and mark down, hey, this is what's needed. We got to do this. We got to do that. I'm here to work with anybody on the school board. I can't look at one person on this board right now that's sitting here and say, hey, I wouldn't work with that person. All because we don't know the challenges that are faced with every day. We can say, hey, this is some backlash and this is going on, that's going on. Some people may not like me asking factual questions, but hey, to me, I'm a straight shooter. I don't have nothing to hide. You ask me a question, I will answer it truthfully. I didn't write down no notes. I didn't sit here and come up with a formulated speech and nothing to give nobody, because everything I have comes from right here every day of the week. So that's why I feel like I'm best for the position. Thank you.
After serving on the board, I know what the problems are, and I'm determined we can always do better. For starters, we need a superintendent that works for the entire board, not just 3 members. What makes me qualified is first being a parent with children in the Stokes County school system. I take the common sense approach paired with good, strong values. That is what helps me with my decision making. Having to also lead our family farm and budget, as well as managing large agritourism events yearly here in Stokes County. I also have experience with managing budgets and making decisions for the school system budget also. I have enough experience to know you do not go after a big lavish plan in the middle of an economic downturn. No matter where you live, you will feel the effects of the school system. The current long-range plan is $222 million and is gambling on $94 million in grants. Absolutely no consideration is being given for maintaining schools left open till 2040 or what that will cost, or the fact that a middle school will go beyond the budgeted of $52 million, even with a possible grant for a middle school, would in no way cover that school project. Yes, neighboring counties have just experienced this, so who ends up picking up the tab? All the taxpayers. No matter if the current long-range plan helps your community or not, you will pay the bill.
We're almost there. We have a 2-minute round for closing remarks. Anything that you'd like to say, or maybe we cut you off earlier? We can make it a 3-minute closing remarks.
Give you a 3-minute timer on this.
And we start with Darlene. Thank you.
I would like to close out by saying the long-range plan that has been designed by Mr. Robertson and Mr. Bryant does not work. It does not benefit the children, the parents that have had zero input, nor does it benefit the taxpayers. It is not a plan, it's a jacked-up wish list that burdened the taxpayer beyond what this county can stand. Please remember, if you take nothing else from this, the long-range plan closes North Stokes and South Stokes. I would also like to ask that Mr. Robertson be held accountable by whatever means necessary for posting on Facebook and passing out maps that put your children and mine in harm's way. The scatter map that Mr. Robertson has been using as a false Mason Borough representation has little dots on it. Each dot represents one of our children. If this map that is now public and is on his personal Facebook page on December the 28th falls into the hands of predators or kidnappers, you're not going to have to worry about holding your child's hand at Walmart. Mr. Robertson has given them the directions to take them straight out of your driveway. Again, I'm Darlene Deal, and I appreciate the honor to be here today, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen, and I appreciate your vote on March 5th. Thank you.
Well, I do want to start out by thanking everyone for coming today and thanking for our communities for having us up today. I think it's been very informative. Naturally, I think you probably understand I'll take offense to what Ms. Deal just said about me. And it's not new. If you've ever looked at Facebook and the Republican page, you see it on there. And I said, you know, every time they post something else about me, I think I probably get more votes. I think some of it is really ridiculous. This here is a flyer that I sent out. Some of you probably received it. Sent out quite a few of them. On the back, it's got my picture on the front. On the back, it's got a lot of information about me. It tells all about me. I tried to be positive about it. Yesterday, I got another flyer in the mail. I got one from the moms. Okay? They do have me a little bit on their looks. You know, they look a little bit nicer than I do. Mine's probably suited more for the garden. Theirs maybe for the refrigerator, the front of it. But the back of it is nothing but running me down. Is that what we're setting an example of? Is that how we're conducting business now? Is that what we're doing? I used the back of mine to tell good things about myself. They could have used the back of theirs maybe to talk about their plan. They talk about our plan, my plan, or the school board's plan. It was voted 4-1. Is a plan. It's not my plan in particular, it's everybody's plan. I haven't heard their plan other than it's a Mason Borough plan. They don't like the map. Well, guess what? I brought a copy of my map today too, because I figured they'd want to talk about it. And she talks about all the little dots on the map. Well, if you can look on this map and pick out a dot and figure out that's where your kid lives, there's no streets on there where the dots are. Every map that we produce in the county in our school has the same map, but it has the same dots on it. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. But what it does is it shows the Masonboro plan. Ms. Deal has posted on Facebook that she thinks we need to redistrict. We got to redistrict. And we need to make sure that the kids that are in that district go to the schools that they're assigned to. There's no transfers. I've got the text, I've got the screenshot on my phone right now. That's what she said. I don't agree with that, but I haven't been out here putting all that out. You know, we try to conduct ourselves in a professional way. If you go look at the board meetings, go look at our school board meetings, you can look at any of them, past 2 or 3. Go look at our meetings and go look at the commissioner meetings. See the difference. See the difference. We don't go on 45-minute rants or an hour rants. We're not an hour and a half into our meeting before we actually start business. We don't talk down to about other people that's trying to serve and volunteer and do their best. We get paid $500 a month to be on the school board.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your support. I wish you would vote for me on March the 5th.
I would like to thank you all again for having us today. I know there are lots of things to learn with being elected to the school board. I am truly invested. I want to make better decisions for our students with parental and community input. It's not just the students who are affected with those decisions. It's the parents, grandparents, siblings, their peers, and more importantly, their surrounding communities are affected completely. I think that has been lost in all of this. You don't just move or affect kids, you change their entire lives with rash, quick decisions. I won't be quick in my decisions. I have attended every school board meeting once hearing of the school closures that were being brought up. Myself and parents and others begged and pleaded to have this plan rewritten so it would be more accommodating for the entire county. We were not heard. I was labeled as one of 15 people that showed up to say the same stuff every meeting, but I've been there just trying to make a fight for it. So I do feel like we can do better. I appreciate your vote on March 5th. Thank you.
Yes, I want to address where I got cut off earlier when I was talking about Chris Stroop and the mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer that came to our schools. When I asked him about the HVAC stuff, he said, yeah, we walked by, we saw a boiler. That boiler's 50 years old. Well, it cost this much to do a boiler. That air handler's 40 years old. It cost this much to do that. But that was the extent of it. There was no abatement of asbestos and stuff like that. There was no repiping. And when you got a 50-year-old boiler, steam boiler, that Schedule 80 pipe that used to be 3/8 of an inch thick is now 1/8 of an inch thick. It's going to start busting. We've got that in some of our schools, busting. None of that was included. Underground was not included. We've got 14 schools that contain asbestos, lead paint, and other carcinogens. But removal of that wasn't included in that $90 million. He did say that a new school was $350 to $450 per square foot. $450 per square foot, 80,000 square foot schools, $32,400,000. If my math is correct, I think it is. I didn't have a calculator, but anyway, saying all that, he also said that $90 million could be just like South Stokes High School. The $90 million came from Peterson Gordon. And Mr. Gordon, or Mr. Peterson, Perry Peterson, said that it would cost X amount to refurbish or install air conditioning into the garage at South Stokes High School Auto Mechanics. The low bid was 4 times as much as he estimated. He estimated $90 million. According to Chris Stroop of Consultant Engineers, we could look at 2 to 4 times that $90 million real quick. He said he won't even quote anything anymore at Cider Reason. He said he went to one bid opening, they were thinking around $1 million. The low bid was $3 million. He said there's no telling what it would cost. So either way, you count it, 4 times 90, $360 million. That's 60 more than 300 or 280. And you still got a bunch of old buildings that are 80, 90-year-old when you're done. Our redistricting plan, they want elementaries countywide. They want to shut down every elementary school in the South District. Germantown, London, Pine Hall, Walnut Cove, put some of them in Southeastern.
Thank you.
Me personally, I'm running for a seat to help restructure what we got going on in Stokes County. I believe that to have an effective board, you got to have thinkers on the board. Everybody's opinion, everybody won't like my opinion, I won't like their opinion. But at the end of the day, if we can agree to disagree, then that's what makes a board a happy board anyway. We're going to have bouts, we're going to have fights. You can't be one-sided on the board. We can't vote just our friends in and say, okay, well, our friends will take the vote and they'll hold 3 parts of the vote and nobody else has a say-so on what goes on. And I think this is a situation that's happening. The things that we're trying to plan on for the future are, I feel like, friendly votes. I feel like one person agreed to it and everybody else kind of fell on their coattail and said, yeah, let's do that. If I'm getting work done to my house, I'm gonna get 3 opinions done before I get it done. I'm not gonna send one person in and give you an opinion, I work off of that. Normally that first opinion, in my experience of selling and buying properties, has been the highest opinion that comes out. It's been the highest quote. I feel like this needs to be thought of more than just on one say-so and one public hearing. I think that we need to go around to each school and speak to each school about what they think they need. I think that's your true, real, raw number. It's not what these outside people come in to say. We have businesses within our own county that can come, and I'm pretty sure they'll do what's best for their students, well, their kids, to give us better numbers than what we're getting from outside people that's coming in and saying, hey, oh, this is run down. Our kids is not being taught in the barn. I'm not the one to say that we need a $400 million school built to get a better education. You can teach me some in this building right here, and I bet y'all learn it. So at the end of the day, and I've been trying to question the fact, like at King Elementary, if we got shower curtains up for our bathrooms, what maintenance guy decided to hang that shower curtain? Who decided not to put a stall in there for these kids? Because you ask me, that's somebody we don't need on our maintenance team. There's a lot of things going around, and like I said, it's for political advancement, but I'm not here for political advancement. I'm here for the kids and fixing and advancing our school systems. Like I said, I'm not here to argue, point out stuff on Facebook. If I put some on Facebook, I'm just asking questions for the fact of it. I'm not putting it out there to bully nobody. I'm not trying to get on nobody's bad side, but we got to quit being friends and start asking the real questions. Ask who's going to really stick up and stand for what they say. Like I said, I don't want you to tell me nothing. If you think of something about me, say it. Go ahead and speak up on it. Because like I said, I want that constructive criticism and see what I may need to change up. But I see bashing. Like I said, I'm not here for that. I'm here to work with anybody on the board. I'm here to give my opinion just like everybody else's. I don't know inside information because I haven't seen the numbers they see every day. But nobody else is being transparent on it either. You're not telling me what numbers you really actually got to work with. We know we pay our school system $61 million for teachers and principal stuff, but what's our raw number that we have to work with? Thank you.
Yes, in closing, I do want to thank the communities in Northwest Stokes for hosting this event and thank them for doing a great job with this forum. Thank you. In closing, I want you to remember that I am opposed to a big expensive plan that burdens the taxpayer and devastates our schools. I'm opposed to long bus rides or busing students from King to Lawsonville. We have to focus on how to stabilize our schools and come up with a professional plan that helps our students and offer more opportunities for them. We will have to improve the relationship with our commissioner board as well. And I know it's been tossed out, costs of HVAC and different things like that. But, you know, you also don't have to abate, I'm switching gears, you don't have to abate ductwork and all that. You can install things and go around it. So there are ways to save money. We can continue to pull numbers and to argue, but the bottom line is our students deserve better, but our current schools are not falling down. They may need some love and attention and support, just like the Peterson-Gordon study said, and it did a great job with projections. is a highly more cost-effective option than what is currently being put out there. Personally, I'll speak on a personal note. I'm also tired of being bullied, disrespected. I can't even count on my fingers and toes the number of community members that I have had come to me over the past year and say, I don't know how you do what you do. So, you know, sure, go back and watch board meetings. Go back a year from now. Go back to June and July. Watch meetings. You'll see the, you know, disrespect and just, you know, horrible treatment, and I don't think that I'm wrong in saying that. Sure, I guess I could be criticized for saying this now, but, you know, it's just awful. So is everyone's opinion being considered, everyone's input? No. I'm a parent, you're a parent. Is it being put into the equation with this current plan? No, not at all. Does that need to change? Yes. So again, I thank y'all for your time and for putting on this great forum. Thank you.
I'm going last. Hello? I'm going last, and y'all look like you're a little glassed over and glazed over here, so I'll try to make this as quick as I can. You know, I'm not on the board currently. I've come back here. I've got children that are going to be going into school. You know, the Board of Education to me is somebody that needs to, where they see any red tape or barriers for any student, they need to attempt to address them. That's what I'm running for. You know, with consolidation, it's going to create barriers. It's going to create logistical hurdles that we as a community have to overcome. We're a smart community. We can overcome them. It's not the end of the world. We're going to be okay. I believe that truthfully. You know, we need to make sure that we're giving fair opportunities to all the children in Stokes County. However that looks in the future, that's what I want. That's what I'm running for. I want to make sure that, you know, we've got reliable transportation services for the children to get them to and from school. You know, we've got special education opportunities for all the regions in Stokes County. I don't know how many of y'all know this, but right now, special education is housed in King Elementary, then they go to Southeastern Middle School, and then they come back to West Stokes. So those children are just hopscotching back and forth. That's with the current layout. You know, that's something that could be addressed in a consolidation plan. That is the Board of Education's task, is to ensure opportunities for the children. You know, we need to look at, excuse me, ways to get the children and parents invested in the school system. Right now, you know, Stokes County Schools just came out with a new app, and I think that's great. It's moving forward. I don't know how many people are going to download the app and use the app that don't already use the website, but it's another tool at their disposal. And we need to make sure that we're providing those tools as much as possible, because parents have different capacities for different levels of involvement. And we need to take any level of involvement that we can as a board. I'm running on that. I want to make sure that we have those opportunities here. And we just need to make sure that the parents know about them any way that we can. I mean, I don't know. I can tell you as a student, unless it was stapled to my forehead, Mom and Dad probably didn't get it when I got home. You know, that's just the way it is. So we've got to come up with ways to do that. And I think parents and people that are sitting in this room, y'all are invested. We got to get the people that are not sitting in this room invested. I'm getting my yellow sign. I'll make it quick. I'm sorry I glazed you over even more. I used all 3 minutes. But I would appreciate your vote on March 5th and any support moving forward as being a candidate for the Board of Education. Thank y'all.
Well, that concludes our forum. Let's have a round of applause for having the candidates come on out to Francisco.